Since becoming a mom, I've realized there's so many misconceptions about motherhood, so much criticism, judgment, fear, shame, and I want to utilize this episode to debunk that a little bit. I'm so excited to do a deep dive on this with you, Kiko, and start with the joy. What is one of the joys of motherhood? How has your perspective of life changed since becoming a mom?
Oh my goodness, it's changed so much. As a kid, I was like a tomboy, hated the color pink. Why? Why did I hate feminine things? And I think it's like in a society depicts women as like weak that I
Mhm.
never wanted to be portrayed like that. Becoming a mom, being pregnant, like going through all of that, I realized, holy crap, women are not weak at all. Like they're so strong. I've always been kind of a feminist. My feminism has like run out of control after I had babies, and to see like what women go through pregnancy, all the changes, and then even after, right, postpartum. It was interesting. I was talking to my sister-in-law about this. She's like, "You love pink now. Do you think this is like healing your inner child?" You're absolutely right, because I'm like a huge lover of hot pink now, being like, yes, bring me the feminine things. Like women are not weak, women are strong, like the stuff that they go through. So it's definitely changed my perspective that way, just seeing how incredible women are.
It's wild that we were ever seen as the weaker sex because I would have needed to train hardcore to go through pregnancy, to go through delivery, and to do postpartum, operating on little to no sleep for such a long time. And the effects on your body is just absolutely insane. Many of us can identify with this need to not want to seem weak, not want to seem anything other than independent and strong. Do you find that it's possible that we can overcompensate for that? How can we still access that vulnerability, that softness, that nurturing that we need as a mom and still honor our femininity?
It's taken a lot for me to learn to like accept help and be okay with like people helping me and accepting that, because as a mom, I think it can be really isolating after you
Mhm.
have babies. Maybe you have friend groups and you're the first to have babies, or even not, just even like where do I look to now, right? Like especially like I was working full time, but now I have a little baby that needs me full time. So it can be really kind of isolating and you could feel alone. And so I think allowing people to help, allowing people to be there for you, build up your community, and being vulnerable there to saying, yes, I need help, yes, I will accept help, letting people into your inner circle, which is not like easy to do at times at all, right? It's putting yourself out there, and it's like letting people then see you
Mhm.
be vulnerable even more. So I think that's like a big learning curve, like allowing yourself to feel all the things and explore. Sometimes we can think of who I was before I had a baby and then now who I am, and then like grieving kind of our past self and wanting to go back there. Like I want to be that again. Like, okay, I can still do it, which absolutely you can, but I think our identity really changes. And so it's like finding this third person, like who am I now with my mixed identities and together now, and finding that.
That was the hardest part of it for me, that sense of loss of identity. Who am I now with this? That loss of freedom. All of a sudden, have so many demands from this little human that's so reliant on me to keep it alive. And I felt really numb with that adjustment. I felt really numb in what this means about my perception of myself, my relationship with my husband. It also felt the most vulnerable that I've ever been through pregnancy and postpartum and delivery. And that was absolutely terrifying. It was also the weakest I'd ever been. It was difficult to walk. Birth was pretty chaotic and there were complications. So healing from that recovery process is taking a lot of time. There's just so many different things in this psychologically, emotionally, and physically that make it so alienating. The sleep deprivation alone, which could drive anyone crazy, the hormones, need of deep healing, but the baby also needs you, so you have to put yourself aside. All of that can feel so alienating and so isolating. And before we jump all into that dark and the ugly parts of it that I really want to talk about to dissolve this shame and this taboo around it that mothers just have to absolutely love being moms and there's nothing hard about it. I also want to talk about the unexpected joys of motherhood. What was the most unexpected joy of becoming a mom for you?
Watching your kids grow, like having this like unconditional love for them, like they can drive you insane. And then 5 seconds later, they do something and you're like, holy cow, like my heart is so full. You love them so much. And I think a big thing is like experiencing things with them. That's one thing I love, especially with my toddler or even my little baby, like seeing the amazement and the awe. And it kind of puts you back into being a child, like slowing down. That's been a big joy for me too. Where I was at swimming lessons the other day. She was like, "Hey, can we do the hopscotch?" And instead of being like, "No, we got to go home. We got to eat dinner. Let's go." I was like, "You know what? Yeah, like what the heck?" Being how excited that made her, made me so excited. And it helped me slow down and kind of enjoy the simple things. And I think kids do that really, really well.
That can be an area of frustration sometimes.
Yeah,
I
absolutely. Yeah.
One time it took me 4 hours to load and unload the dishwasher, and I thought that was ridiculous. And then you said, at least it got loaded and unloaded. And I was like, what a great way. What a great way to look at that.
Yeah.
Kiko, what's something about motherhood that no one prepares you for?
How triggered these things are going to get you going. Like all your childhood things, anything that triggers you, like you're really gonna be self-aware of wow, what gets to you. And it might not be things that you've ever been aware of before. So I think that was a big thing, realizing like parenting is a lot of self-work.
Hmm.
Regulating my own emotions and myself. It's not about the kid. It's not about their tantrum. It's about why am I being triggered right now? Why am I so dysregulated, touched out, all of that? It's really being self aware, parenting self work. When we talk about it's for the kids, no, it's for us. And how do we regulate ourselves? And so that was something I think shocking. I personally believe if I want to be a good parent for my kid, I really need to work on my own self regulation. If I can't regulate myself, there's no way I'm going to regulate my child.
That's so true because something that I used to see in older parenting styles is you're yelling at your kids not to hit their siblings as you're hitting your kids. Or you're yelling
Yeah.
at your kid to not yell or not swear as you're yelling and swearing. What's one technique or tool?
It's honestly just self practice with my kids. So I'm on the floor doing it with them. But anytime I'm ready to yell, I take some breaths. And my daughter, she can tell I'm getting agitated. I go, like she looks at me and looks like you're frustrated. Let's take some breaths. And she'll do it with me. I can't yell at her for that. That's exactly what I do for her. And honestly, it's been lovely because I'm like, you're right. I am frustrated. We went to a kid's birthday party. We were bowling. I was just being dramatic. Like I wasn't actually mad, but she's sitting there watching and I was like, no. Like she taps me and pulls me on. She's like, hey, mom, it's okay. We can try again. I think we're just going to have to take some deep breaths. And I was like, oh no, I'm not. Like, I'm not actually mad. And she was just like, it's okay, mom. Let's take some deep breaths. So I just took some deep breaths with her. That's a big thing for me, like being open to my kids. Like I want my kids
Mhm.
to see I have emotions. I'm a human. I make mistakes. And I want to verbalize that to them so they can also call me out and support me as well, just like I support them. I think that's a big thing for moms too. Like we're expected, or this idea of like we're perfect. You should never yell. You should never get mad. Like you shouldn't be crying. Don't cry for. Don't let your
Yeah.
kids see those. Why? Why wouldn't we let our
Yeah.
kids see that we're humans? That we have emotions. That we go through things. That's how they're going to learn. If we show them we have it too, right?
I think if you shield them too much from that, like if you don't let them know that you're sad, they learn to stop trusting their own intuition. They can see that
Yeah.
you're sad, they can see that you're mad, and they feel it. And then they ask, we try to shield them and protect them, say, no, I'm not. Then they start to doubt their intuition. They also can make up stories in their head saying, mom is mad at me. Mom is sad with me. I'm disappointing mom. So I love that approach of being honest with them. Resiliency and needing to show up is like the mom theme song. How do you balance your own needs while managing being a mom and helping everybody else meet their needs?
Since day one, you have a baby. And then what does everyone say to you? Nurses, doctors, health professionals, everyone, make sure you're feeding the baby. But you know what? Make sure you're resting too. So make sure you're sleeping. Oh, but stay awake when the baby's awake. Like, okay, make sure you're eating. Oh, but you don't have time. What the? It's a balance. And how do you balance it? You're telling me to sleep. You're telling me not to sleep. Staying in the hospital, they're like, don't carry this weight. Like, don't pick up this much pounds. Okay, but how do I pick up this baby? This idea of self-care, and I love self-care. Like as a social worker, I'm always like, no, boundaries, self-care is important. And then when you become a mom, your job is to take care of this baby, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Okay, but who's taking care of me? Also, you get this mom guilt, feeling guilty, right? Of all this stuff. And like, okay, what if I'm taking an hour for myself to rest? But okay, that's an hour away from my baby, or that's an hour I could have been cleaning this, right? And it's this internal struggle that I have constantly. I've gotten better about it, but once I kind of changed the framework in my mind of like, no, I think this is like a social construct. Women or moms always need to be doing something like cooking, cleaning, not just rest and take care of your baby or something. And when I hear those messages, I think, no, no, that's not true, Kiko. That is like societal view. That is something that has been ingrained in us. You can take an hour for yourself. If I didn't have a baby, I would be taking an hour for myself. So why don't I deserve it now? If I need that rest, then I should take that rest. Like I'm a better mom when I have an outlet, whether it's that day, you know what? I'm taking an hour to watch a show because I haven't watched a show in a million years because I don't have time to watch a show. Or it's like, I'm going to take an hour and go for a walk just by myself and my dog. Or I'm going to do something I love, like whatever that is. Could be a craft. It could be like getting your nails done, whatever. Like not feeling guilty with that. And that's taken me a long, long time. Like my kid's 4 and I still feel guilty sometimes being like, hey, I'm gonna go for dinner with my friends. Are you okay watching the kids? And my husband's like, what do you mean am I okay watching the kids? I'm not babysitting them. Like they're my responsibility too. I've been very fortunate to have a husband who views it that way and thinks that way. But even then I still feel guilty of doing it. For me, it's still work on how to balance and take care of myself. Like I know I'm a better mom when I do that because I have more capacity or ways to regulate myself. Like, yeah, I'm ready. I had my time. I filled my own cup up. Now, if these kids are screaming, yelling, tantrum, I'm there. I'm ready because I'm regulated. I've had my outlet. Like I'm good to go. And I noticed when I didn't have those, I couldn't. You're whining. I'm going to lose my mind. Can you just stop? There's just so much of my mind going, right? And I don't want to be like that, like they're babies. Changing your framework, and that's something I'm still working on, changing my framework of that whole society thing of like self-care and you need it, but then also you feel guilty. And you should always be doing something where no, it's okay. Like I can have my own interests. I can separate myself. I'm still allowed to be me and have my personality and my interests and the things that I want to do. Just because I'm a mom doesn't mean that that should stop and take from it. So that's something that I constantly have to remind myself.
Which is something that can be challenging. I do like how you addressed it from an inner dialogue perspective. What is it that I'm telling myself? What messages am I telling myself? What story? What's the narrative? What's the script? I like how you pointed out if I needed time away for myself when I was just one person, obviously I need it when there's more of a team for me to manage. That makes
Yes.
so much sense. That was a really big challenge in transitioning to being a mom because I kept thinking, how is this a viable system? So I have to rest, but I have to meet all the demands from the baby. I can barely walk, but I have to pick up the baby. Second and third trimester were so horrible that you're so sleep deprived and then you're more
Yep.
sleep deprived. I'm like, how is this sustainable and how is it normal that we expect moms to do this? And I just really
Exactly.
admire moms who do this, especially moms who have to do it alone. Even having Jer, who understood and was very proactive, who'd literally be giving me vitamins, giving me water, making my sits bath, I still experienced a lot of resentment. Can you talk a little bit? And here's where we get to the dark. Oh, I
Yeah.
think I
And
froze.
maybe I should have said this for your other question. I'm like, what was this shocker for you? The amount of resentment towards my husband and just all men in general. Like, I have never been a man hater until I pushed a baby out of me. I was like, you can't do anything with your body. You can't be this kid. Like, what do we even have men for? I will say, with every baby I had, the resentment just increased. Like, the anger after my first baby, I like prepared my husband. I was like, do you remember like that whole like resentment towards men, husbands? Like that will be coming back when I push the second baby out. And he's like, oh, I know. And I was like, great. Now that we have that understanding, watch what you say to me. Like, be careful. It feels that way, right? Like fed is best, obviously. But if you're nursing, like I remember looking and being like, he's literally just sleeping and I have to wake up and feed this baby. Like you should be up too, buddy.
There's
Which is
so
like,
many,
no,
yeah, demands that it really is just, it can be such a divisive stage in a
yeah.
marriage. I breastfed, but I couldn't get him to latch. And then eventually I
Yeah.
ran out of milk. I took the pills and then they gave me horrible back pain. There were so many issues with it that breastfeeding became so emotional for me. Ironically, it was a thing that I was so afraid of before it gave birth. And then once I did it, it was such a beautiful thing that I wanted nothing more than to breastfeed. And then I couldn't. So that was very devastating, but that also adds
Yes.
more division in a marriage. What is one strategy or something that couples can do to stay more connected and navigate that transition?
I think communication's huge. I'm like very grateful like for Taylor, my husband, and how I think it was like 5 or 6 years, and then we had our first kid, and we really worked on our communication. Like a big thing was like we're not having kids if we're not like a solid
Mhm.
foundation together and can navigate that. Just really communicating roles, what we needed from each other. Like even now, like I had a second baby and we still had to have communication when I was on maternity leave. Like the resentment that I felt then too, and the anger of like, you're out doing this, like whether he's supporting with like youth groups and stuff like that. You are out. I am never out with the children. It was something that I was like, maybe it was my pride. Like, I'm not going to ask for a day off. you need to tell me and you need to offer me a day off, sir. And so, right. And so like eventually, like it's that communication. Like we worked on communication for so long, but still I was like, why are you not getting the hint? I want you to offer it because of that guilt for me. I shouldn't need a day off for
Yeah.
my children. I shouldn't need that break. And I didn't want to admit it that I needed that. I needed space away from him, from my kids, like just from people, whether that was alone, whether I like did a walk myself or I'm literally just walking them all,
Mhm.
touching clothes or doing something, right? That was something I had to do. So once a week, I picked a day and it was like my evening off. He was in charge of the kids. He got home from work and I said bye. And I didn't come home till I wanted to come home. It was absolutely lovely. And it was like I'd be counting on the days till then, right? So finding what you need and being okay to say
Mhm.
that and having a partner that supports you with that communication piece is huge. It's
Mhm.
very huge. And then also having a partner that realizes, oh, this chick is hormonal. Her hormones are whack. You have a baby. Like, yeah, she's
They
busy,
are so
snappy.
oh my gosh, they're so crazy. I remember thinking I've been a growth mindset person and I've had lots of great self-discipline. I've never fallen into the I'm on my period, so you have to deal with my hormones. I've been so disciplined. I thought pregnancy and postpartum would be like that. They were not at all. Like the rage that I felt, it was insane. Jared was like,
Yeah.
I've never seen you this angry. I'm so scared. And I was like, I'm scared too. I'm so scared too. And the interesting thing that happened with my brain is prior to being pregnant and being a mom, I was very practical. Anytime that women were
Yeah.
like, he's not asking me, he's not doing this, I'm like, girl, just tell him he's not Charles Xavier. He can't read your mind. Then I became pregnant and
Yes.
a mom.
Yes.
And I was like, why is he not being considerate of my feelings? Why isn't he anticipating my needs? It's not nice to have to tell everyone what you need constantly. Like, please look, notice. This is a very vulnerable time. What do you wish that husbands were more aware of during pregnancy and postpartum?
I think they should be doing their research, understanding as much as women what is going in our body onto our body. Like they should have the same understanding and what that means for our hormones and realistically our recovery period. Call me a princess, but I'm like, no, you should be supporting. Like I just destroyed my body. My emotions are insane and I'm still healing, like physically, emotionally, mentally. Also, it's a huge trauma. Like it's a medical trauma when you deliver these babies.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have that understanding. And some do, like not saying they wouldn't, but then also that whole mental load piece that women carry. As much it is women's role to understand this baby, it is theirs as well. I shouldn't have to tell you when the feeding schedule is. I shouldn't have to remind you. It's your child as much as it is my child. You can feed them just as much as
Mhm.
I can feed them. I shouldn't have to say, hey, when was the last time their diaper was changed? You should know as well. This is also your baby. It is not my job to hold all that in my mental space and to remind you and to tell you. And so I know that's like a big jump for a lot of men, just in like the society we live in and generations. It wasn't like that. It might not be an expectation in all marriages, but for me, that's an expectation for me. I
I
shouldn't
think it's
have
funny
to
how you
remind you
frame
to feed the
this.
children either.
You frame this like I'm not a princess or maybe I'm a princess. You're not. Like this makes sense. It's kind of wild how many people when Jared's like, "Yeah, I've done night feedings." It's interesting to me the response that he got of from men and women. That's amazing. Like my husband didn't do that or I never did that as a man. I really appreciate that. I don't want to downplay how that's great and fantastic, but I also feel like that should be more common. I don't think that
Yeah,
that
that's
should be a unicorn behavior. This is your partner. Let's take care of your partner. And I think sometimes there's a lot of
absolutely.
division in a marriage and in a household. Any thoughts that come to
Yeah.
mind about how to create more unity and harmony for the well-being of the married couple and the children?
It's having those conversations. A lot of it was kind of educating Taylor, right, in our whole marriage, helping him become self-aware of those things. And he's brought it up too. And it's honestly validating to hear it come from his perspective
Yeah.
too. Like he'll be out at the grocery store with the kids by himself or go to church by himself, like if I'm not there one day or something. And he says the amount of women or just individuals that come up to him and be like, wow, Kiko is so lucky to have you, or wow, your kids are so lucky to have you. I'm sorry, what? Why? Because he's doing his job as a dad? I haven't gotten one comment when I take him alone to the grocery store. You know what I mean? The amount of women that I see doing this daily,
Yeah.
where's their comments? Like, it's expected of women, it's not expected of men. And when they're doing it, like you said, it's like they're this unicorn. Helping partners become self-aware. Like, do you realize how like weird that is? Like how
Hmm.
messed up that is? Kind of helps then too, because he'll come back and be like, 3 people came to me today and were like, what a great dad you are. And he's like, that's comforting, but like my wife does this all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing different. This is what I should be doing. And so when he comes to me and says that, I'm honestly like, wow, yes, Taylor, yes.
It is so
Validates me.
validating. Absolutely. Or how there's
Yeah.
not a father's lounge at church. They need to do the feeding, they need to change the diapers. Moms can't do it every single time. Come on.
Exactly. Yeah, or bathrooms. What century, what time are we in that there is not those little changing stalls in all the bathrooms, in all of them? The amount of times like Taylor will like, yeah, I got it. And he's like, actually, there's no way. I physically can't. I'm like, all right, I'll go to this day. And I'm like,
Mhm.
how? How is that still happening? For me, a big thing with our marriage was like him also recognizing maybe these systemic issues or injustices or things like that, because it validates me and it also makes him self-aware.
Yes.
I don't even want to say that he needs to step up, because he doesn't need to step up. He just needs to do his job as
Yeah.
a dad. The fact that Taylor and I can have those open conversations, and we've always had those open conversations since like we were even dating, has been huge for our marriage. And then becoming parents as well. Like the expectation is there. It's nothing new. I think it's okay too to have preferred roles or preferred
Mhm.
chores or preferred tasks.
As long as you
When
talk
I,
about them, because then
yeah,
both
like
people are bought in. That's what helps me feel
absolutely.
like a team. Helping the partnership be stronger, whatever, whether you're married, you're dating, or whatever you're doing, helping it be stronger so that both people can feel understood,
Absolutely.
both people can feel supported. What is the hardest thing about being a
Yeah.
mom that we don't talk about enough?
Releasing some of that control. I can be very protective over my kids. And like I have a way of like, I've researched this is how I want to do discipline, this how, and right, like we're on the same page, absolutely, but just how it is. I'm with the kids when I was on maternity leave the most, right? He's back to work. I'm with the kids 24/7. I have a lot of time to learn their personalities, things that will trigger them, how to regulate. And I had someone tell me, like, let the dads learn too. The
Yeah.
kids are going to cry. Let them learn. Let them figure it out. The dad's relationship is going to be different than your relationship. You guys are different people. You have different ways of regulating things. I mean, like core parenting, you probably want to be on the same page, but other things, right? And so that was something that was hard for me, because like those are my babies. I don't want them to cry. I know I can fix this like this, or I know I can
Yeah.
regulate them with a hug really quick, but I need to let their dad build that too and progress to that point where they can also do the same. That was really hard for me, but that was something huge in our marriage, releasing that control and that trust in him, that
Hmm.
I can trust to regulate those kids, that when I'm gone, I know they're safe and I know they have a bond in a relationship with him, because I've given them the space to figure it out, whether it was a struggle, whether it was a cry for months, whatever, for them to figure it out. But as long as they're figuring out in a safe way, right? That was something really big and hard for me to release that sense of control and to trust him.
I'm so happy that you brought that up because I heard similar advice, except it was phrased, don't become an expert in your kids. Let your husband also be the expert. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for you're now the go-to person and your kids are not going to go to your husband. Like, I don't want all of that on my plate. I'm not trying to be a single married mom here. It's not good for their
Absolutely.
relationship and their bond. I had a similar experience with Jer where Benji was
Mhm.
crying and I wanted to sue them because I can sue them really quickly. And Jared did not want me to sue them. And so we got into this very quiet argument right as he's trying to soothe the baby. We talked about it that night, and I said, this really hurt my feelings that you didn't let me come and soothe the baby. And he's like, you hurt my feelings. And I was like, okay. How did I hurt your feelings? I was fully expecting to be talking about how he
Yeah.
can't bring up his hurt feelings, bring it up at another time. This is about my hurt feelings now. You're stealing the baby is the first thing that came out of his mouth. And I was like, what do you mean I'm stealing the baby? I'm literally like 3 feet away from you with the baby, and then I'll
Yeah.
soothe the baby and I'll give it back to you. So like, what are you talking about? I was able to ask more questions. We were able to explore what he meant by that. And he meant you're stealing opportunities for me to bond with the baby. You're
Yeah.
stealing opportunities for me to build a relationship with the baby, for Benji to know I can be soothed by dad. I have a good relationship with dad. And the way that he phrased it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I immediately was like, okay, I'm gonna work on pausing and walking away so you can have that time. But it's very hard because there are very strong maternal instincts. Being a
Oh
logical
my gosh.
person, I was not prepared for the strength of these impulses when
Yeah.
your child is hurt. Immediately mom mode. I
Mhm.
want to fix, I want to heal, I want to protect, I want to nurture. And so that can be hard. You also mentioned, though, the isolation of being a mom. I want to talk a little bit about that because I don't think we talk about that enough. What do you think is so isolating about being a
Yeah.
mom?
For me, is you constantly have little people with you all the time. So you're never alone. So people are like, what do you mean isolation? You always have people. I think it's the mental load that comes with it too. Like managing so many things, managing the house, managing the children, managing everything else, managing your emotions all at once. So you're never truly alone, but it feels isolating because also you don't have time then to really connect with the people that you need to connect with in that sense. Or sometimes you feel like, does anyone else feel this? At times you might not be feeling the joy with these kids. And you don't want to admit that all the time, especially because you're supposed to be a mom. You're supposed to be happy. You had these babies, like they should bring you joy. But I think that can feel really isolating because you're scared to know I have these things where like, I don't want to see them another second today. Or this is really hard work and I don't have anyone to talk to about it because I'm
Mhm.
on 24/7 keeping these things alive. And I think that can be really isolating if you don't have
Mhm.
those supports, or you can be separating, like your friend group could be at different stages of life. They might not have babies, and that's isolating, thinking that people don't share those same perspectives of you or feelings or all that kind of stuff.
I
So
find that it's
I don't know
also
if that
hard
makes sense,
to,
but
it makes so much sense because I also find that it's hard. It was hard for me to explain what it is that I'm going through. And I find that if you didn't have a child, you don't know. But even if you do have a child, not everyone's circumstances match yours exactly. So there's still a sense of isolation, even
yep,
though someone could have a child that's the same age as
yep,
you, could have similar circumstances as you. There's a sense of I'm doing this and the responsibility is falling on me, not just to meet the needs of those babies, but to meet my
yeah,
needs. Sometimes I don't feel like I have the energy, and so
yes,
we get lost as moms. I think a lot of women may be able to identify
absolutely,
with the sense that we lose some sort of sense of our identity. Did you ever lose a sense of your identity?
abs
And then how did you get that back?
absolutely, constantly, where it's like, I don't even know what I am, who I am anymore. Like, also, like, body dysmorphia,
Yeah.
all of that, right? Like, you can't fit into your old clothes. And so, what do I even wear? Who am I? That's like a big thing, finding like my sense of style, because I feel like that's a great way to kind of also find your personality too, at least for me, when you don't have any clothes that fit that you love and you don't have time to even focus on that self-care piece of you, right? Like, where's your, for me it's like, okay, I don't even know what I like anymore. Like, I don't even know what I have time to do. Like, is my whole personality my children? Like, I guess
Hmm.
I love going to the zoo now. Like, that's who I am. But that's where I think, especially this second time around with my second baby, is where I've been really focusing on. Yeah, I might not be who I was before, and I'm not just a mom. So I need to create this third identity of who I am, what I want to be. And I think it's just a natural transition. And I've had to rephrase it and look at it like not focusing on that so much, but like, okay, we all change. We're not static in our life. Like,
Hmm.
even when I think of when Taylor and I were dating, I was a different person than when I got married. We're constantly changing and evolving. And so it's like I've chosen to look at it in this perspective because it gets me excited. Like, okay, who do I want to be? Who is Kiko? Yeah, I have multiple hats. I'm a mom, I'm a social worker. I like being outside. I love sustainability. Like, what other things do I love doing? Who am I? And exploring that. And I
Hmm.
think also something that has helped me is like allowing my children to explore that with me. Guys, I love plants. Do you want to know the plants are with me? Like, allowing them into that side too,
Hmm.
where I'm really just also like doing things I love, showing them my interests, right? I go to them with for their interest, things they like. So why can't I include them in my own interests? And that's been something that's one took in the guilt away from me, being like, well, now I'm taking time away from my kids. No, we're doing it together. But it's showing them pieces of me that I love, which is also allowing me to grow and explore and still be me and what I love, and also saying no. And
Hmm.
that guilty piece, throwing that out the door. Like, when my kids like, will you play with me? Will you do this? And maybe I am doing something like for me, or like cooking or craft or baking. I'm like, actually, no, you guys can go play like over here for now. I'm going to finish this. If you want, you can help me finish it. Or like you can go do your own thing. It's up to you, right? But you don't always have to say yes to your
Hmm.
kids all the time. And I think that's something that I've learned, and my perspective's changed on that, where it's like, no, it's okay for them to hear me say no sometimes. No, mom doesn't want to play that game actually right now. I'm going to do this instead. But maybe tomorrow we can play it, right? That kind of thing, putting those boundaries in place, which is also, I think, teaching them they can put in those boundaries too, right?
That's what I love about that because you are literally modeling to them. You can have boundaries. You don't have to be a people pleaser, and you're not responsible for other people's emotions. They can learn resilience. They can learn emotional regulation because life will throw a lot of failure and disappointment at you. We're not always going to get a yes from absolutely every person. So I think that's so powerful. Something that helped me too
Mm-hmm.
was what can I do for just Ale? And then what do I do
Yeah.
with Ale and Jer? Because it's so easy to lose your identity being a mom and being a dad. And then the marriage
Yes.
kind of goes to the wayside, or your self-esteem goes to the wayside, or your sense of identity goes to the wayside. What is it,
Yep.
something, Kiko, that you wish women would stop being ashamed of, or moms would stop being ashamed of?
Hmm. So many things. I wish they'd stop being ashamed of, well, just like the whole body culture too, right? Like how we're expected to bounce back. You have so many people like praising dad bods, but no one praises mom bods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, one, I don't want them to be ashamed. Like, we should be so proud of what our bodies have accomplished and can still accomplish in all its forms and all its softness. I wish moms would also stop being ashamed for just being who they are and maybe losing their crap sometimes, right?
Mhm.
Like we all do. There's no way to stay regulated and perfect and all that 24/7.
I walk such a fine line of I love this so much. I'm so excited to do this. He's so adorable. I could do this forever. And if I do this for one more second, I'm going to lose my gosh darn Martin. Take your son. Please take him right now. And I want people to understand that that is okay. That doesn't mean that you don't love your children or that you don't love being a mom. You just sometimes need a break.
I just wish we would all just be more accepting of what we want a mom to look like or a parent. Like, there's no one right answer, but I think there's so much shame in whatever you choose. Like, I've talked to so many stay-at-home moms where they're like, "Oh, like my career, blah blah blah. Like, I'm just a stay-at-home mom." What do you mean, job? Is a big job, and that is a huge commitment. And also, if you're able to do that, that's great. That's a lot of privilege for you to do. Your children are very blessed. But then also the shame, like, oh, I'm not there for my kids. Someone else is raising my children at the day home, blah, blah, blah. I'm feeling shame around that. No, absolutely not. You're building up their village, you're having more safe people, more connections, and you're also working, doing what you want, like what you need, providing. It comes with education too. I just wish we would all stop feeling shame and just accept that moms can look different in so many different ways. There's no one viewpoint of mom. You don't have to love playing with your kids either. I have some friends who are like, I absolutely hate playing with my children. Great. That's totally fine. You don't have to be the parent that loves play. I have some friends who are like, I hate imaginative play. Like, let's do a puzzle, let's do a board game, a craft together. There's no shame. We all
Mhm.
have preferences. That's people. That's who we are.
There's such a power in teaching kids to have acceptance for those different models of playing and connecting and understanding that there are different personality types. Because again, I think one
Hmm.
thing that is really powerful is teaching resilience. And I think that's so beautiful. I also love the way that you reframe things. No, if you're with your kids, that's amazing. They're so privileged. And if you have to leave them with someone else, you're building their village. I was like, she'd be amazing at PR. Kiko, I just robbed a bank. No, you intelligently found new resources. Okay, you're fine.
I love it.
If you could break one societal expectation, norm, or stereotype about motherhood and moms, what would that be?
I just always go back to the whole perspective of women aren't strong. We're the weaker ones physically, like emotionally, we're so emotional. And I think, like I said, that was like a big part of my own identity now that has shifted that, like, wow, women are so strong. Like, give me all the pink things. Like, let me really like oversaturate myself now because I'm proud to be a woman. And the idea that, like, if you choose to be a mom and have babies, that you're just conforming
Mm.
to these ideologies, what a typical mom should be, what you're supposed to do, blah 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 blah. Where maybe some people might go there, but no, it's much deeper and it's much more complicated than that. And I wish people would understand that. And everyone's reasoning is different, and the journey and who they'll become is much different and very, I don't know, it's beautiful on their own, I think.
I really love that. What message would you give to new moms?
Oh, find your village, definitely. Hang in there. It is tough. I don't want people to sugarcoat it for them either. Like, yeah, it's going to be hell. It's going to be tough, but honestly, you were meant to do this, and there will be so much joy at it and so much sadness, and it's okay to feel all those emotions, like, and to be very gentle and soft with yourself. That's something that I think we all need to work on more.
That's so sweet and that's so tender. I think that's such a great message for moms in general. I also want to give you an opportunity to address single moms. Is there something that you would say to single moms who maybe are having a hard time finding their village?
I would say don't give up, keep searching. And I can't imagine maybe the isolation that they feel. Single moms are like next level for me. The work that they do, doing it on their own, right? And that's why I think like it's really important that people have connections and villages and stuff like that, especially if you don't have that partner to split it with. You are doing it. You're the mom, you're the dad, you're everything. And those are, I think, amazing women, incredibly strong people. Doesn't mean it's easy, but yeah, I don't, that one's wild to me. I think of a lot of families that I knew growing up who are single moms, seeing how strong they are, and they're always have to be on, right? For
Yeah.
those kids, honestly, they're probably some of the bravest and strongest people I know. Anyone who is just a mom or individual, like, just be kind to anyone you see. You don't know what they're going through, and especially if you see them with their kids are melting down, and just be gentle with them and offer support. That's something that I've been trying to do more, especially that I've become a mom. Like if I'm in the grocery store and I see a kid losing their mind, or a mom, I'll
Yeah.
just say, you're doing great. Like, keep it up. You're doing amazing. I don't know if they're a single mom. I don't know if they have support. I don't know what's going on in their life, but I know it's hard. And I appreciate the little gestures and little acts of service when I had my first baby being out. And so I want to do the same.
I think that is such a really nice fostering of safety and inclusion in our society because I know that I really appreciate when I'm out with Benji and people are very kind, they're very smiley, and that really does help. Even though he's not screaming or yelling or anything, it still helps. Sometimes it's a whole ordeal just to get out of the house when you have kids. I'm shocked at how
Yeah.
difficult it is to get out of the house when you have kids. Before having kids, like, I think I'll leave. Cool. Let me put on my shoes, grab my keys, I'm out the door. Now it's a whole hour preparation. Do we have the shoes? Have they eaten? Do we have snacks? It's kind of a wild safari that we need to prepare for. Kiko, is there something in the essential mom onboarding kit that you would include so that moms can take care of their emotional and physical wellness and their
Mm.
mental wellness actually too?
Definitely don't be ashamed to like go and talk to people, whether that's professionals or not. That's really important even during your pregnancy. Like I said, your hormones are so wild. The life changes you're going through, the grief and all that. Like, it's very okay and normal, and it's okay not to be okay. And so if you need that professional help, do it. Absolutely. And like I said, taking breaks for yourself. You might not even know what the heck you need in the moment, but try different things. Recognize, this is not working for me. This is not okay. I'm going to try this. Maybe this will help me. Nope, that didn't work. Oh, yeah, I'm going to try this. Maybe taking a break here will help me. Or you know what? Maybe locking myself in my bedroom where I am just doom scrolling. Maybe that helps me for a little bit, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So trying different things to figure it out. Recognizing if you're having these feelings that maybe something needs to change, and that's okay. When I was pregnant with my second, I had perinatal depression, which I didn't even know was a thing. I couldn't even get out of bed. I just stayed in bed all day. Like, we had just moved to Calgary. Taylor would drop my daughter off at daycare and I would just stay in bed all day. Did not get out. I've never experienced like that before. And I'm a social worker. I work with people. I set them up for counseling. I set them up with all those things. I tell them, go get support if you need support, right? Like, and I couldn't even do it for myself. And so
It's hard.
it is hard, yeah. And so if I didn't have the support network I did, I wouldn't have. And so I did seek help and got it. And I was pushed to do it, but it honestly was like what I needed to change my own mental health and my own well-being, and then to be able to support my daughter and my husband. He was doing everything for months because that depression was wild. And so
It's
I
heavy.
think, yeah, and postpartum depression is very common after you have babies. And a lot of women don't seek help or support for it because, one, either the shame, the stigma, or who has time after you have this baby,
Or
right?
maybe it even just the thought of it seems like another thing that I have to do now and divert energy and
Yeah.
resources to, and it can feel a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah. Overwhelming, daunting, and shame too around it. Honestly, self reflection, we all got to practice till we die. And your children will force you to have those moments, whether you want it or not. Yeah, I'm a big believer on self reflection and just finding joy, even in the little things, like what little things bring you joy day to day, or what gets you excited, and then do it. Make time for it. Easier said than
Brilliant.
done.
Definitely easier said than done. I think when you're a new mom, the first 3 months are hard, but the first 6 weeks are super overwhelming. Your body is in so much recovery, depending on how bad delivery
Absolutely.
was. So that can be tough. But one thing that you didn't mention that I do want to mention is what you said to me. That's essential in the onboarding kit, and that's Anusol.
If we're talking about physical things, yeah. carry bottle and Anusol.
Yes.
I also lived in Depends. I love Depends. I put one on until after one of my friends ate my first, and I was like, I'm not wearing old people underwear. Put them on. And then it was like, I don't think I'm ever going to wear regular underwear again. I don't need these anymore, but I'm still wearing them.
I hated my pregnancy pants. Postpartum, I'm like, these are fantastic. Like, I love them. I'm
A
not
good
getting rid of them. I think
sweatsuit.
exactly, like they're so perfect. Do you have a
Yeah.
strategy or tool that comes to mind that would help moms improve the quality of their daily experiences?
Yes, stop putting stress on yourself. No, the dishes don't need to be done, just like you. No, it's okay. Don't even worry about the dishwasher, Like if that is gonna set you over the edge, just don't do it. The dishes will be there tomorrow. They'll be there the next day. Like just don't do it. And like I said, I know that takes a lot for like your guilt. I just need the break and I just need not to clean this or to vacuum this. Just enjoy your day. Whether that's we're going for
Get
a
me out.
walk, learning those things about yourself and like what you need is important because I have other friends who are like, I can't be out for
Mhm.
more than 3 hours. I need to be home. And they
Mhm.
love that. And there's no problem with that. I couldn't do it when I was on maternity leave, being home for more than 2 days. If it was 2 days in a row, I'd be itching on that second day. I was like, we need to do something. And so explored the city, walked around, do free stuff. We would go to the library all the time. Like
I love the
it
library.
was, yeah, right. It was lovely.
Yeah,
Walk the
this is
mall.
sponsored by Calgary Public Library, Anusol, and Depends.
Three things you need.